It's about that time again, guys. What's good with you? Glow Yard members. What's good, everybody? Welcome to a brand spanking new episode of Members Only, guys. Good Friday to you all. Man, it's been that morning for me, King, man. I'm moving a little slow right now, man, but I definitely appreciate everybody, man, hopping on with us, man. Of course, y'all already know how this works. We usually do these shows, man, to show our appreciation to our Glow Yard members of the channel, man. So we're glad you guys are here. We got a special one for you guys today. Of course, you already know I'm your boy Real. I got my boy King out here, man, and we Talk Mavs. So, King, you ready to get into it, man? We got that special guest on with us. Y'all guys already know from the thumbnail. Like I said, welcome you to the Glow Yard members. Have a special guest, King. Let's go ahead and introduce him.
Yes, sir.
We got Landon Thomas in the building, man, of MavsFansForLife.com. A lot of y'all already know who he is, so we definitely appreciate him hopping on, man. What's good, Landon? What's good?
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Oh, man, we good, man. We good.
Hey, I like that theme song, man.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm about to go out for the night, you know?
Yeah. We definitely try, man. We try. That's like I told King, that's like our fourth intro song.
Yeah.
We've been getting hit, man. So we finally found one that'll work, man.
Different levels to it.
Yes, sir, man.
You got to hear our normal one for our regular show. My wife raps on it. So.
Oh, I like that. There you go.
It's like Glow Yard Anthem, we call it.
Nice.
But yeah, man, like I said, we appreciate you, man, hopping on and everything. I know you're a busy man. A lot to talk about with the Dallas Mavericks, as y'all know.
Yeah.
It's a long off season. I think it's an off season we not expect to happen, but hey, we're here. Landon, man, before we start, man, we'll just go ahead and tell the people about yourself, man.
Yeah, for sure. So, Landon Thomas, I'm a reporter, independent reporter covering the Mavericks. I started Mavs Fans for Life at Mavs Fans for Life like 10 years ago, back when there wasn't a lot of Mavs websites or pages. I think there's only like 2 of them. Now there's like 200. You know, I wanted to create something where you could relate to the fans, you know, because you have the official Mavs page, you know, it's all 100% positive, and just wanted to keep something real. You know, you could criticize the team and you can highlight the team, you know, that balanced reporting. I think that's what relates to the fans. I think that's why the fans kind of cater toward my reporting is it's balanced reporting. You know, you got the lowlights and you got the highlights, and you go on a journey of the season. So it's been great so far. It's been great.
Yeah, that's the key though, man. Like you just said, it's the balance.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times if you start just going straight positive, people gonna be like, man, whoa, you just kind of glanced over this issue we have right here. Why you not talking about that? No, the positive. Like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
So, but you want to start it off, man?
Simple question, Landon. I guess I'll start it off simple. What was your expectations, I guess, before the season for the Dallas Mavericks? And I guess, how do you feel right now after seeing the results?
I mean, the expectations were high, right? You know, you're coming off a Western Conference Finals run, and you see a different level of Luka Doncic as well, you know, just elevating his game. And you have a young team. You have 3-and-Ds all around them, and you have Spencer Dinwiddie, who you thought would replace, not fully of Brunson's game, but at least, you know, be a replacement. Mm-hmm. And you saw coaching from Jason Kidd in the playoffs. You were very excited to see what he did and unleash, you know, the talent on the team. And then when you go into the offseason and you lose Brunson, it dips your expectations a little bit, you know, because he's a very talented player. He's a young player. He grew with the Mavericks. Kidd unleashed his game. Brunson even said it. And so, but you still have Luka, and you still have, you know, quality role players around him. So I think at the beginning of the season, I had them as a 4th seed, just with everything involved. With Brunson there, it would have been higher, but, you know, losing him was big. So I had him as a 4th seed. And then, wow, the season was a long season. So many disappointing things happened. So many lowlights. There were some highlights as well, for sure. But, you know, it's just a culmination of a disappointing season. You know, especially the coaching with Jason Kidd. You kind of see like the rotations are inconsistent. You know, throughout the whole season, you can blame injuries here and there, but like throughout the whole season, there was never a consistent starting lineup. There was never a consistent rotation, and there was never a consistent closing lineup. And they had the most clutch games, so you want some consistency there, and some in-game adjustments as well. That was one of his flaws this season. Injuries kind of helped pull the layers of seeing and assessing Jason Kidd as a coach.
Yep.
Because you didn't really see a lot of in-game adjustments. I mean, he even told us he's watching the game like us.
Nobody died, Landon. Nobody died.
Nobody's dying. Nobody's dying. We're still here, thankfully. Thank God. But also blown leads as well. The blown leads was bad. I even wrote about it. Those type of things, can make you 11th seed if you fix those minor details. They can make you a 6th or 7th seed, or even a 4th or 5th, because you see how close the West was. This is the season that you could do. So it's kind of in everybody else, and that's kind of how you see with the. I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the Western Conference, but also the defense was horrendous. I mean, a lot of people want to blame the Kyrie trade that had nothing to do with it at all. The defense was bad, and a lot of people want to blame Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie. And when I say a lot of people, I'm talking national media, but they want to blame
some
the loss.
Some fans too.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can keep it real that too. I mean, the defense was horrible before that trade, and it was like the bottom of the league after the trade. And you kind of wish, that the coaching staff kind of had a strategy like the Sacramento Kings. Like their defense is horrendous as well.
Yep.
But they go all into coaching and offense. Just say we're gonna outscore you. I don't care what we do defensively. We're gonna outscore you. But it was a long season. What would y'all guys think about it?
Man,
I mean,
go ahead, King.
I was going to say you basically summed up what we've been saying all year.
Yeah,
it was nice to hear it from someone else. Like we've been saying it all year. Everything you said, I think even the last episode we just had, I said the same things about Sacramento having a bad defense, and that you watched them and that the West was still wide open. It didn't matter. Just the rotations. Why didn't you start Christian Wood? We'll get into Christian Wood more later, I feel like. But I felt like even saying the Luka Doncic thing with the 50-point games and the 60-point games when he was healthier, having to get those to just, skate the victories over like Houston and teams
San
like
Antonio.
that. Yep, over teams like that, like it was a facade. I feel like at the beginning, just Luka was a little healthier. I felt like if Luka would have went through the same situations and got, hurt with Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith here, it would have been the same situation, if not worse. We probably wouldn't have won any games without, Luka at that point. So I basically echo everything you were saying, Landon.
Man, like you said, Landon, same thing. You said you projected us to be the 4th seed. I was around that range too. We had a round table at the beginning of the season, and every last one of us said there's no way the team loses. Can't win 50 games. It's at least 50 games. Yep. And I think King had us number 1 in the West because of the addition of Christian Wood
with Jalen Brunson. I thought,
we thought Jalen Brunson, and so and then also too, like you said with the whole Jason Kidd thing, we saw how Jason Kidd handled it last year with the adjustments and all that stuff. We thinking, oh man, there's no way in the world we can lose now. Luka's gonna come back better. Like I said, we get Christian Wood. That adds a different dimension for our team as far as being a guy who can score in the paint. A little bit better than the White Powell and Master Cleveland, all those guys. He adds something different. And so I said 3rd seed. King said the 1st seed. I forgot what everybody else said, but everybody else had at least top 4. So we had no idea this was gonna happen, man. This is throwing everybody off this year.
Yeah, and also let's not forget, like Jason Kidd was tied for I think 6 for coach of the year voting. Yep. That's how good he was coaching last year, and he got comfortable. Honestly, that's what I saw. He got comfortable.
That's what we've been saying. I mean, that's exactly what we've been saying. Yeah.
It's tough because you feel like if he had those in-game adjustments, you could win some of those games, and it's tough to see. But I mean, when you look at the post game, the exit interviews for the season, I mean, Nico said that's their guy. I mean, he's the same coach as last season. That's TBD for me. We'll see next season, because you kind of have, the great season and then you have the bad season. So let's see next season what comes out of that. And then also Christian Wood. Y'all mentioned Christian Wood. Let me say, first of all, Christian Wood has been great. From what I've seen behind the scenes, and obviously on the court, he was efficient. He was a great scorer, great rebounder. But just from the behind the scenes, he's a great dude. And I was kind of shocked, because you see headlines, and now you kind of see it more with Dallas this season. But you see headlines about a player, and then you don't know what to expect. But when he came in here, every time I had a chance to talk to him, he was nice. He was always in good spirits, no matter what the situation was. He did have a few moments during the season when he wasn't playing, where you could see the body language. But I mean, that's understandable. But from the most part of the season, he was great. And then also on the court, he was great as well. So that mishandling of his minutes and his role was confusing as well from the coaching staff.
I think Grant said the same thing, didn't he, bro?
Grant said
about Christian Wood being that guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say, it's funny you said that, because now we're starting to get national attention as far as what's going on with this team. And a lot of them are starting to highlight this whole Christian Wood thing. I think I remember Kevin O'Connor was one of the ones first people I seen tweeting about. It's like, yo, what's going on with this Christian Wood situation? Or we'll hop on shows with other guys outside of the Maverick fandom on their shows, and they're asking us questions like, yo, what's going on with the whole Christian Wood thing? Like, nobody understands what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And so we had this idea of what Christian Wood would be when he got in. We talked about it. We had our show talking about when we picked him up. Like, man, we could envision him doing this and that, and him kind of fitting that Porzingis role a little bit, right? But the difference is he could put the ball on the floor a little bit better than what Porzingis could do. So we kind of thought, like, yo, we get this guy in, man, it's over. Of course, like we said, we thought we were gonna get JB back, but yeah, we thought, like, this was it. I think we're good to go.
Landon, I never felt like, Christian Wood was like the greatest defender or anything. I knew his deficiencies, and I think everybody knew his deficiencies, but we knew what he could do on the floor, and we just expected Jason Kidd to unleash that and him be. We never felt like Maxi Kleber or Dwight Powell's, I guess, strength at defense was enough to overshadow Christian Wood's offense, and how much of a difference it is in his offensive abilities between him and them two. But it's just throughout the season, it just seems like Jason Kidd has always tried to find a way, I guess, to say that their value is just more than it is, and we just don't understand it. So I don't know if you get the vibe that, or if you got the vibe from covering them, that Jason Kidd just, doesn't really, or he has to pay his dues, or I guess Christian Wood. I don't know what's the circumstance, or what do you get, I guess, from that?
Yeah, I don't know what goes on behind the doors, the conversations between Jason and Christian Wood, but just from covering the team and seeing practice and seeing games and seeing, just listening and asking questions, it's I'm confused as well, because he goes for the Mavericks. He is what you want,
Right.
Obviously his defense has flaws, and that's understandable, but they knew that. They knew that when they brought him in, and it honestly started before the season, to be honest, because Jason Kidd, he named JaVale McGee the starter before the season even happened, and that's before the ink dried, like literally, like he was signing his you're the starter, because it was weird to me, because at least if that's the vision you at least have, I wouldn't put that out in the public. I would at least, or I would even have that call, I would let them have a training camp battle and say, hey, if this is the same McGee that we've seen the past few years, he's a good rebounder, a good rim protector, coming off, the bench or starting for these contenders. Let's make him the starter, because we need some more defense. We need rim protection. But they didn't even have a training camp battle. That was the penciled in starter. So that's what initially confused me, because I thought he was, like y'all said, that he picks up the slack from the Brunson points. Obviously, different roles, different positions, but the points, and he also rebounds. That was another thing. He's a great rebounder, and the Mavericks played their best when he was starting.
Yep.
You know, him and Luka, they're, what was it, the fudge and ice cream, or fudge and vanilla or something like that. He said that's when it was at its highest peak, because we saw what he could be. We even saw it at the beginning of the season when he was coming off the bench. We're like, dang, this dude should be starting. But
game one.
The first two games, he was like, I think he had the most points for a new member of the Mavs. I think until Kyrie, but just.
And just set him out in the fourth quarter and Landon. Just say it's over.
Yeah, it was sad to see, because he's a good dude, and you see his career. He's been with so many teams for one season. Obviously, half of those teams he was still developing his game, but just from the past handful of seasons, it's sad to see, because you always have a balanced reporting when you assess these players, but it's personally, it's sad to see, because he's a good dude and he can ball. And even Nico, in his exit interview, we were there, and he said there's more to. He said he's a great, efficient scorer, and but there's more to that. But that's the Mavericks knew that when they traded for him. So I don't know.
First rounder.
Yeah, that as well. It adds up. It obviously adds up.
I was gonna ask you about this. I guess I'm gonna go ahead straight to it, man. I got an opinion on this. I think I've talked about this before on the show, but I'm gonna get your opinion on this. Do you think that there's a disconnect between the front office and the coaching staff?
No, not at all.
No, okay.
No, I think it's really tight. I mean, they have their they have their circle. The Mavs circle or whatever it is, with Cuban, Nico, Jason Kidd, Michael Finley, Dirk Nowitzki. That circle is really tight, and I think you see it. They're always huddled up. I mean, they're always with each other. And especially in the off season, I mean, I don't think there's a disconnect at all. I think that it might even be too close.
I was going to piggyback off of that question Ro just asked you and ask, does that mean that maybe there aren't any, roles, basically? Like, are there false roles as far as their titles? Do you feel like it's more of
is there like a defined pecking order?
Yeah, like is there a hierarchy really, or is it just a circle, a group of guys that make an opinion together? They have a council, basically. Do they have a council more than have a hierarchy?
Honestly, from my standpoint, because this is just me assessing, because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but from what we see behind the scenes, at least, I think there is a pecking order. I think there is, Cuban's the guy around Dallas. Everyone knows that. Nico knows it, and then I think there is a pecking order with Nico and Finley. They pretty much are tag teaming things in the front office, but Kid does have a say in those conversations. So he's in that circle. Dirk Nowitzki, he has a say in those conversations. Even Luka, he's in those conversations as well. His communication with the front office has picked up this season. So I think there is a pecking order, but I think the organization views it as a family environment.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay.
What was I about to say? I was about to piggyback on what you said with that. We have a motto on this show, Landon. It's in Nico we trust. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you kind of feel like you trust Nico to steer this ship in the right direction next year?
I think so. I mean, if the moves that he's made since he's been here, obviously the offseason was puzzling, but they didn't really have that much options to be real. But first off the bat, he made the Kristaps Porzingis trade. He didn't let that Mendel.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you.
He's like, hey, this is not working. Obviously, KP's been balling in Washington. We got to point that out, but it wasn't working in Dallas with Luka. So he made that to be flexible, and Spencer did his thing here. That it helped. Bertans helped a little bit, but Spencer was a huge part of helping the team reach the Western Conference Finals as that third ball handler. And then you see this season, I mean, he traded for Kyrie Irving, and he didn't have to give up much. Obviously, he was on an expiring contract, and then also just the headlines around him. But if he resigns Kyrie Irving, I mean, Nico is that dude, and that's a power move because they needed desperately. Even with Brunson here, they needed a second star. They needed a co-star. They didn't need a sidekick. They needed co-star, and that's what Kyrie Irving is. He's not a sidekick to Luka. Luka is a top 5 player in this league, but Kyrie Irving is a co-star, and I think that's what they needed, and Nico delivered. So we'll see if they re-sign him. If they do, then you got to give props to Nico. If they don't re-sign him, then that's when you start to, have doubts in just his GM duties on re-signing stars or the player relationship, because that's what Dallas is all about. Is when you look at top to bottom, they moved in a way where it's player relationships, like Mark Cuban, player relationships, the locker room and all the the treatment of players. The players complement that, and then you see Nico and Finley. That's player relationships, and that's why they're there in those positions. Jason Kidd, he's a player's coach. Top bottom, you got to have, you got to put yourself in the position to re-sign Kyrie, and that's the number one priority.
Well, now, even I guess I'm gonna rewind a little bit, but still address that question. Even with like a Kyrie Irving re-signing, say we get another guy, a lot of folks want a DeAndre and somehow in a trade or something like that. Can we really believe that Jason Kidd is going to use guys correctly? As I say, like, does he have too much say maybe in the background? Like, where does the Nico and Jason Kidd line occur? I feel like, because the Christian Wood thing, we go back to that was a first round pick we used for Christian Wood. So it's like, I know Nico didn't want to use a first round pick at the end of the day for this type of experiment with the guy that you got a first round pick for. So if we do get another player, how do we know that Jason Kidd is going to, use a starter guy that's a first round pick worth first round picks, I should say? Like, is it any, I guess, fire to Jason Kidd from like a Nico of saying like, hey, you gotta use this guy or you gotta do this differently next time? Do you feel anything different as far as that?
Well, from what Nico told us as the reporters, he said that that's Kidd's department on who gets minutes and who has the role. Yeah, Nico just brings them in.
So so what gets Jason Kidd in the hot seat, I guess, Landon? Do you feel like, is there anything Jason Kidd can do to be put in the hot seat? Not saying he should be in the hot seat, but like, what would have to occur? Because
for this not to happen again, pretty much.
That would be an excuse, I feel like, over and over again.
Well, I feel like since Nico and Cuban has, announced Kidd as their guy and their coach, I feel like for him to be on the hot seat, you would have to have, Luka or
Kyrie
or Kyrie's saying, hey, there has to be a change here, or I'm thinking of leaving, or there has to be some monumental pillar of your organization have doubts in that coach. But when you see Luka and you see Kyrie's comments about Kidd, they like him as the coach, and the front office and the owner likes him as the coach. So for him to be in the hot seat with the organization, because he's always in the hot seat with the fans, but with the organization, I think there has to be a monumental discussion amongst the co-stars of the team about him.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. But let's I
not what I wanted to hear, Landon,
I
but
know
okay.
you hear that side, but I mean, let's be honest. I've wrote about it. I've reported about it. Like it was a disappointing season from him, and I honestly think he should have elite assistants. You know, because that's the problem, and that's the problem. Because like you see a player's
It's always
coach.
funny hearing these people say exactly what we've been saying. But yeah, you're right, Landon. We've been saying it.
Yeah, because it's a player's coach. So you need a tactician. You need a X's and O's elite assistant behind him that can use those adjustments. If that's your guy, if that's your head coach, and that's fine. I mean, he did great last season. Obviously, this season was bad, but you have to put him in a position to succeed, and that's on Jason Kidd as well. Because if you look at his assistant coaches, they're great player coaches as well. I mean, they're great with the players, but they're not elite tacticians on the court, and that's what you need. Imagine if they had like a Terry Stotts, or imagine if they had a Frank Vogel.
Too.
You know, some of those guys who have ties to Jason Kidd. If they were in those seats behind him, they will push him to another level and at coaching as well. So you got to have someone that can mentor him as well as being a head coach, because if you have the assistant coaches leaning on him and he's the player's coach, you're going to see those clutch games that they had that they lost. So,
I mean, and I said, I think I talked to Rel about it. Jason Kidd, this was a year where I don't feel like it was any game where he actually won for us. And I'm not for firing Jason Kidd. I'm not all the way on that train. I'm indifferent on the show about Jason Kidd. I actually had the high hopes behind him because of last year. I saw last year I felt like he was one of the best coaches in the league. Like,
yeah, he was
last year, like a top 5 coach. He outcoached Monty, who was the coach.
We felt like he should have been top 3 in the coaching.
Yeah, like he was that good last year. So I felt like with him, you probably wouldn't get the same development of Jaden Hardy, Josh Green, like I said, Jalen Brunson, all those guys, even Luka being who he is and all. I feel like he's a developmental coach. Even Giannis said that if you're a guy that wants to learn and you want to be coached, Jason Kidd's that guy that will teach you and unlock the best in you. And what you just said about him having better assistants, I think is a big major thing we talk about on the show. If he had better assistants, because you don't want to lose that. You don't want to lose that developmental. Like, he's awesome at that. He's elite at that. So you don't want to lose it. It's like, we wish we had Rick Carlisle right now as our assistant. Like, if you combine them two right now, we probably have the best coaching staff in the NBA.
Yeah.
And that's like, I guess the assistants have to get on the hot seat or so. Jason Kidd just has to realize that he's too buddy at a weight now. Like, it's like, you got to bring in some guys that have to help you out, because we love the assistant coaches. Like, I think all the fans love those guys that have all these coaches have opportunities and these ex-ballers and all. But like, you got to have somebody that's just like you said, a tactician, a guy that just X's and O's, tells you plays. Igor, as we had last year. So I think we miss him a lot. And
Igor was great.
Yeah, misses him a lot. So I thought we would maybe have, but they let go of like a Mosley, guys like that. They let go of these guys that could have still been a part of the staff to let Jason Kidd have all. Let Jason Kidd have all the power where he could have
Silas.
Silas, all that. So, go ahead.
And that's what I want to see, because when you see his assistant coaches, they're his friends. I mean, they're good coaches, but they're not great coaches, and that's what they need. They need like you said, they need those tacticians behind him. They need more mentors for Kidd. You know, some of the coaches that he looked up to can come in there and help him out to get better, because that's the thing. You have to get better each season, and we didn't see that this season. And you also said Igor. I think he was undervalued on leaving, and also Jalen Brunson. It always goes back to Brunson. Brunson was an extension of the coaching staff on the court. So you missed that as well. But I think Kyrie, if he had a full off season, I mean, Kyrie was great here. If he had a full off season and actually, had a length of time to develop with the teammates and know who they truly are and know on the court, off the court, he can do the same thing here. I mean, obviously his game, his stats were great, but he can be that leader on the court when he has a full training camp, a full off season, a full preseason, because he said it like 10 times, like they're learning on the fly. And that's what they were in those clutch games. Like you saw it.
Guys, I got some breaking news.
What?
Dallas just got fined $750 for that comment for the whole tanking thing.
That's all they did. That's it, just $750?
Just $750.
I mean, it could have been worse than that. So
yeah. And that's the NBA making a point.
Yeah.
Like hush your mouth.
Exactly. That's exactly why they did it for, man. That just came down. That's what Corey just said this. Yeah. So
shout out to you, Corey. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it, Corey, man.
The Mavs, bro, I was just gonna say, I felt like, I was gonna say past the Mavs, I guess. Luka Brunson was the true. I never said this on the show before, but I felt like he was really the true point guard, Landon. Like he was the point guard as far as setting the team up. Not to disrespect Luka and say anything wrong about Luka's leadership. I'm not going on the Tim Hardaway thing and saying Luka Doncic is not a leader or anything like that.
Yeah.
But Jalen Brunson, I felt like it's just guys have different ways of leading. And I feel like Jalen Brunson may have been that guy on the court. And with him gone, you lost that. Like, even though Luka plays the one on the floor, which some people would say he should play the three maybe, and maybe change the way they play, and it could be a difference. But even if he is playing the one, I felt like he's not really that point guard, that guy that's really, does he really want another guy to be his best, if that makes sense? Does he want guys to be, pieces around him that can help him, or does he want guys to really be their best? And I don't know if Luka has the game like a CP3. CP3 will take away part of his game to make a Tyson Chandler look amazing, to make a David West, look amazing. You feel me? Like guys will look amazing around him because he took a part of his game back when he could be scoring and all. Do you feel like the Mavericks are missing that this season as far as a guy that could really do that? Because Luka really is just about get his numbers or find the guy. If he can't get if he's doubled, he finds the guy for open bucket or whatever. Or what do you feel about that statement?
I mean, there's different ways to look at it. But I feel like there's an adjustment here, with Luka. I mean, he honestly hasn't played off the ball since his rookie year. And it takes time. I mean, when you're the guy in majority of his career, let's just say with the Mavericks, he was the only guy, and it takes time to be off the ball. Like Kyrie Irving, Jalen Brunson, they have the mindset where they can play on and off the ball. But Luka has always been the guy on the ball, and the coaches have always been give the ball to Luka, push it to Luka. So he has to adjust his game. But with him with the ball, I mean, it's what he's a top 5 player. You have to give him the ball, but there's different ways, and that's why it comes back to having a tactician where they can, create ways where he comes off the ball and on the ball. You see the Warriors. I mean, Steph Curry was a top 5 player for so many years. He still almost is, but he can share the ball, come off the ball, and still get his points. Is how you get your points. So I think they need a better offensive scheme, especially if you get Kyrie, where you implement both of them. And I thought the pick and roll was great too. I thought the pick and roll was great with both of them.
Elite.
Yeah.
I think
they do it enough.
No.
Exactly. And that's where you have to do that. You have to be creative, because you can't have Kyrie standing in the corner. That's fine a few plays, but you can't have him standing in the corner. You can't have Luka standing on the perimeter watching Kyrie. You can't do the ISO game back and forth. That's not going to win you ball games long term, or the ultimate goal. So you got to be creative offensively. I think he can do that. I think Luka can do that because he wants to win. Okay. And I think he wants the best for his teammates. I do, because Dorian played the best with him. Spencer Dinwiddie was the most efficient of his career with him. Jalen Brunson, obviously, the Knicks, he's doing amazing things, but he was more efficient in Dallas. Obviously, he has more usage in the New York, but all these guys are more efficient with Luka, and they get the most wide open shots. Yep. So it's both. You have to look at it both ways, because I think he will adjust his game for better talent. You know, and he started to adjust his game for Kyrie, but I don't think he's going to adjust his game when he's only the guy, you know, for role players.
Yeah. But so I guess the to piggyback off of that is the Jalen Brunson comment. Jalen Brunson is now, I guess, he probably should have been an all-star and a borderline all-NBA player, in my opinion. Like, I'd probably put him on my third team. I'd find a way to put him on there. That's how important I think he is to the Knicks. Mm-hmm. But with him being that type of player we see now, would Luka Doncic be okay? And I'm not saying he wouldn't be okay. I'm just trying to get an insider's view of being a guy that maybe gets you 6.5 assists, 6.5 rebounds instead of getting you 9 and 9. Because truthfully, I don't want Luka Doncic being my highest rebounder on my team. Like, I feel like I want a guy that can go and get me 10 rebounds in the middle, you know, instead of the guys we have starting right now that can get you maybe 4.
Get you 10 rebounds.
Yeah, like I want a guy that can do that. So will Luka be okay with maybe dropping that down and saying, okay, I'll be the most efficient I can be, while maybe getting my numbers dropping a little bit, where maybe I'm putting up maybe 55% from the floor and maybe get my free throws up to an 80% and shooting a good 40% from 3 and getting you a nice 30, but 30, like I said, 6.5 and 6.5 with that type of efficiency. That's an MVP. Do you feel like he knows that, or is he still, maybe that's maturity, a level, or do you feel like he's just doing, like you said, with the talent that he has and not maybe trying a little differently with Kyrie now because he actually believes in Kyrie?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the numbers, I think pre-All-Star, he was averaging a little bit above 8 assists a game, and post-All-Star, I think it was like 7.5. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, with the addition of Kyrie, I think his assists went down. Like, you don't you don't see a lot of triple doubles after Kyrie, and I think he can be a 7 assist type of guy. Maybe not 5 or 6, but I think he can be a 7 assist type of guy next season with a full season if they re-sign Kyrie Irving, because they both are playmakers, and I think he wants to win. So I think he will adjust his game. It just takes time. It really does, because the last 3 seasons, you know, his first season, he had DSJ running the point a lot, and he was playing off the ball. I mean, sometimes we were thinking, is he a shooting guard, small forward, or power forward? We don't know. But now, you know, the last 3 years, it was point guard and D guy. So the ball was in his hands all the time. He was top 3 in usage every single season. Yep. But I think this season, upcoming season, if they re-sign Kyrie, then I think his usage will drop back. It won't drop back to a great magnitude, but it will drop back, because you have to have the ball sharing with those 2 guys. And some of those, we saw a glimpse of it. Some of those games was special between those 2 guys. And I think
you said Philly.
Yeah,
Philly game.
that was insane.
That was their peak right there. It's like, now we see what they can be.
Go ahead. I thought you were about to say something, Landon. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it froze up a little. But I think it all comes down to winning, and that's the thing. I think those 2 guys play great together. Obviously, the chemistry needs to be better, but you can't expect someone to jump in unless you're like Kevin Durant. You can't expect someone to just jump in and just fit automatically, especially those 2 guards. But they played great for what they did, except the last few minutes of the games. And I think that's what you have to learn in training camp and preseason, just being around those and just having those type of situations. I think winning will help this team reach its full potential and reach the happiness amongst the stars. And you'll see Jason Kidd playing his best, but coaching his best. But when you see this team get defenders, I think that's it. Kyrie's number 1 priority. Defense is number 2, because the defense was horrendous. They were like bottom.
Being nice.
Yeah, seriously. Like, when you see like the local YMCA, and you just see the pickup game when you have one team just keep going scoring on the other team, you're like, bro.
Yep.
Like, come on, man.
Any one center or power forward would have a field day against us. Any team that came into the building, they said that you have a center or power forward, feed them the ball.
You said Cody Zeller?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that has to be priority number 3. Find a new starting center.
Man.
Yeah,
all right,
you can't keep going back to Powell.
Oh my God,
opposing teams target him, and it's tough to see.
Speaking of which, man, I think this person has a question for you, man. They said, how do we get rid of the white? He said the white Cuban. He called him the white Cuban, but how do we get rid of the white Powell? So you just answered pretty much like you don't want him back. I don't. Do you see him coming back? Because I'm hearing a lot of rumors, man, that he might come back and he might sign him for like a league minimum or something like that.
With Dwight Powell, I think I've voiced my opinion on him. Let's be real here. It's 50-50 right now. And the reason I say that is because the organization loves him. I mean, he's a leader. He's a true leader. I'll give him that. He's a true leader amongst the locker room and the community. He's always doing great things in the community. But basketball wise, he sets screens, and that's probably his best strength, and catches lobs, and that can't be your starting center. Like, we've seen it enough. Like, he's not good at rebounding. He's not good at scoring. He doesn't shoot threes. He doesn't shoot jumpers. And he doesn't protect the rim. He's in position all the time, but he doesn't have the arm length to block shots. He doesn't have the arm length to get steals. So that's the problem. You're in great position, and
that's how we heard. That's how we heard. Landon was he's in position though.
Exactly.
He's not doing anything else besides that though.
But it doesn't produce the like, he's a hard worker, but you don't see the hardworking stats. Like, you don't see blocks, you don't see rebounds, you don't see steals, and you see him get hit in the face every game. Dude,
he's a hard worker. We can tell he's a hustler. We can tell all
he is. Yeah,
he is all of that stuff. But he isn't the most skilled basketball player, NBA basketball player. I'm sorry. It's a lot of. I think I'd probably take almost any center on any other team than Dwight Powell, and that's not somebody has to be 32nd or whatever. Like, it is what it is, and I just want to know when the team is tired of, just giving up roster spots. Like, it's been like for the last 3 years now. We've always had someone that's been an attraction on the sideline, or someone that cheerleads on the sideline as a space. Or now we're going to think about bringing back the White Powell on a 50-50 because of community ties and things like that. Like, if that's the case, then make him a coach. That's how we feel on this show. And that's not to be rude. That's just, it is what it is. Like, if that's the case, just give him a coaching contract and let him be a coach. We need the space and the roster spots on this team because it's already like depleted of talent. So like, you have to have those spaces, and it's like too many guys. When you have Bertans is being considered the worst contract in the NBA, and shout out to Bertans for getting his bag, but like, he barely plays to be making $16 million a year. Like, that's a luxury, and we have too many of those guys on this team. So to sign a Dwight Powell back when you still may have a Bertans on your team, it's just like shooting your team in the foot, I feel like. So
great point, bro.
No, you made a great point, and he is better suited. I wouldn't say out the league. I mean, he is a quality NBA big, but in the role that he is in is not him. He's great for a third big on a team, and when you're looking at third big, I mean, you might want to go younger because, like you said, Bertans, he's over 30. He's making 17 mil. You got McGee over 30. He's making what, 6 mil? Then you just got Kleba. He's over 30.
Maxey,
And now he got a 3-year contract extension.
There it is.
So that's if you re-sign Powell, that's 4 guys over 30 coming off the bench. You got to go younger. You got to find somebody. But if it is over 30, it got to be a quality starter. And that's what makes me confused with the Christian Wood thing. But because there was no defense anyways. I mean, on the team. I mean, Kleba was good, but he was always injured. And he was a better perimeter, not rim protector.
Landon, according to what you're saying, though, if the Mavericks knew who Christian Wood was, then he basically performed to the best level of what he could be according to what. He should have a contract, and we should see him back next year.
Yeah,
they give him a first-round pick.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know what's going to happen this offseason. A lot of things could happen, but and there's honestly not a lot of teams that have money. That's the thing. It's going to be a lot of trades this offseason because there's not a lot of teams. The teams that do have money, they're fighting for the number 1 pick in the lottery next month.
They're OKC.
OKC, man. I like that team, man.
It's a house spot.
Yeah, a lot of picks, a lot of youth, and a lot of good players. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting with Christian Wood where he goes, or you never know. I mean, but I don't see it after the comments about him from front office. But he would be great. He almost saved the Mavs season in that Kings game until they decided to rest players. I mean, him and Kyrie were the only players who scored, and he produced when in the minutes that he had.
I feel like I may not be correct, but the only time we won over 3 games in a row is when Christian Wood was starting. Like I feel was it even over 2? Like it had to be something around 2 or 3. We never won more than that in a row without Christian Wood starting. So it makes no sense to us. But allegedly he has to prove himself, and other guys have proved themselves.
They have not given us what people make it seem like they give us.
I know we went OT though with you, Landon. We appreciate you. I don't know. Do you have any more time, or you got to jump off? We don't want to take.
Yeah, I got a few more minutes. Then I'll have to jump off.
Okay, all right, you want to take a couple more?
Yeah, TGK had this question. He says, Landon, when asking questions to players/coaches, what is the process leading up to when you ask the question? What do you factor in?
Yeah, from asking players and coaches, you kind of just it's a feel for. Like I'll be honest. When I started reporting on the team, I was trying to make a name for myself, and I would have like all my questions prepared and it just ready to ask. But once you start learning how things are done, and you got to assess how games are played, you got to assess how a decision was made, or you have to assess, hey, this is the only opportunity I'm gonna have in front of this player. Let me ask this question because a lot of people want to know, and that's why I feel like with my reporting it doesn't come to, hey, I should ask this because this will help me out. I'm really asking because the fans want to know. Yeah. That's when you see my questions, it's pretty much like, hey, the fans have been asking, why isn't this player playing, or why is this player playing, or why'd you make this decision? How can you, like, that was one of my questions as a kid. How could you improve as a coach? Because he didn't take accountability all season. So it's like, you got to ask those type of questions to get the answers that you want instead of just guessing. So you got to go with the flow and just see what correlates to the fans wanting to know.
We appreciate you, Landon. Like, big deal. We definitely recognize the work you do. The low yard, like, you're definitely one of the real ones that we absolutely think. If we got to hear that word, we needed you on the show. That's why you're here today. Like, we definitely appreciate your work.
I appreciate y'all, man.
Just 2 more questions real quick, Landon.
What's up?
Frank says, Thomas, he says, what trade, if you can, would you do to make this team better?
Are we talking realistic or unrealistic, or what are we talking
about? I guess a perfect world, and you give us perfect world and what you really think can be realistic.
The perfect world, I think Clint Capella. The perfect world, that's what they need. They need a big guy who can rebound defense, and not only defense, he can protect the rim, and then he can catch lobs. The same thing Powell does, and he makes your team better because the defense is bad. Like, you either need a two-way, a wing, or you need a big who is mobile who can play defense.
Yeah. One of our people we will kind of associate with, man, they do Atlanta Hawks coverage. They kind of threw that out there. So y'all want Clint Capella. He's like, yeah, I guess we need some kind of a big man, like you said. We need somebody down there that can do something.
Hold on,
yeah.
and
Just
go ahead, Landon.
Well, I was just gonna say the non-realistic.
That's what I
The
was gonna say.
the 2K the 2K trade. Oh man, when you look around the league for just a unrealistic trade, the Mavs would need. You probably would want something splashy. I would say the perfect person who would be for this team would probably be like a Paul George, a two-way player that can play defense, guard multiple positions. He's great in the clutch. They need clutch.
How about Jaylen Brown?
Oh, Jaylen Brown, that's my guy.
There you go.
That's my guy.
He's a younger version.
Yeah, there you go. Jaylen Brown. He's perfect. And guess what? He's close to buzz with Kyrie.
Yep. And he's having problems in Boston. So if they don't win a championship, who knows? He already says that he doesn't like playing there.
Yeah, it's bad over there.
So.
Yeah, he's in my top 5 players I like watching hoop. I've said that many times. It's Brandon Ingram. It's Jaylen Brown, SGA, Luka, and Zach LaVine.
Oh yeah,
those 5. Those are my favorite players to watch hoop.
What you think about also before we go to the next one, DeAndre Ayton?
That's what I thought Landon was going to say. I thought he was going to mention DeAndre Ayton.
Mobile, can big, a little bit a defender, can do a little bit of protection of the rim, and can give you a 15, 18 footer. And if he practice, probably a 3-point shot.
But is that realistic or unrealistic?
No, unrealistic. Like
unrealistic.
If we have the same team with Kyrie and Luka, and we just need a big guy, would that be like a ridiculous big 3?
Yeah, that'll be great. I think Ayton is undervalued as a big man, and they hardly use him.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Yeah, so the video again of him being upset of how he was being used, and
exactly.
Yeah,
and they play mind games with him.
Yeah, I was gonna tell y'all too. What's the name? Tim McMahon kind of brought that up again, guys. So
with Ayton,
I'm just saying, he brought it up again
with the Mavs.
The first time we talked about it
with Kyrie here. If Kyrie went, I would rather have Jaylen Brown if Kyrie wasn't here. I don't know if we need the 3 major guys at the wings.
Yeah,
I'd rather have a big guy that can be there. But if Kyrie stays here, I'd rather have DeAndre Ayton. I'd love to have Ayton beside those guys. I already seen the offense. I think their offense is enough. Like Ayton would just add another piece where they would be able to step out and be unstoppable, basically the 5-out kind of in a way they can't with Dwight Powell and all. He can roll whenever he needs to. And I just feel that him just being a centerpiece of the defense will make everybody's job a little bit easier. Now, he doesn't even have to be the greatest defender. Just him being somebody that they know behind them, they would have to be step into a wall or whatever, go around the wall. It would make everybody else's job easy, and I think the defense would be enough where we'd be a top 4 seed just like that.
Yeah, and I was kind of disappointed, to be honest, when he was when the Suns matched that, because I wanted to see him in Halliburton.
Yeah,
in Indiana when he signed that offer sheet.
We could have got Miles.
That would have unleashed.
Yeah,
could have. Yeah.
Melissa got this question for you, Thomas. He said, what do you think about Kyrie's not granting Dallas media an exit interview?
We don't think it's fair. Go ahead.
I mean, half the team didn't. So they all had player exit interviews with Nico. So that's one thing, but only half the team did exit interviews. So can't really, if he was the only one, no, that's different. But
right. Okay.
It was only like six players out of what, 17.
I'm glad you pointed
did
that
exit
out,
interviews.
That was awesome.
So
yeah,
so
people
I don't really
he
pay.
just didn't grant nobody interview. It's like, but it's like 7 other guys who didn't do it. No, Kyrie.
Yeah, and that's what I wrote about as well with Kyrie. I mean, he's been great since he's been here in Dallas, and I don't even watch, to be honest, anymore unless there's a game on. I don't really watch national recording, especially when you see the behind the scenes and then you click it on and they're saying the opposite. It's it's just all agenda pushing. It's narratives. It's clickbait machines.
The The only reason I pay attention to Atlanta and I tell my partner is because they control people's money. So I like to hear what's being said. As far if they would change that up, I would stop paying attention. But like they control the casual viewers, idea of what the game is. So I have to watch it because if I didn't, I'd have a complete different idea of the NBA.
That's true. And I did watch it. I watched it for a long time, but the last couple of years, just from when you're in the arena and you're seeing the behind the scenes how people really are, and then you go on TV and they're saying this guy is the worst, and specifically Kyrie. Let's be honest. I'm talking about Kyrie. I saw a whole different side of. That's why I wrote about it because he's misunderstood. He does say he is kind of weird, but everybody has their own thing, and you can't. And he wants to just be himself, and that's the thing. People don't allow him to be himself. And Nico said, Kyrie told him that, he felt like himself in Dallas, and I think that's a positive thing to take note of.
Well, I guess last thing, piggyback on that. How do you feel percentage-wise as far as Kyrie returning? If you had to put a number on it.
Oh, put a number on it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I feel good about it. But put a number. I would say, if I would have to bet, if I was a betting man, I would put his percentage. And this is my personal opinion. I don't want anything reported. Mm-hmm. Like, it's my personal opinion. I would say
report this real quick now.
I would honestly say 90%.
90%.
Oh, okay.
I think he's really coming back. I mean, obviously the Mavs can pay him way more than other teams can pay him. And so money, and he's also being himself. You could see that he likes being in Dallas, just the way he's carried himself here, and he has a co-star in Luka, and Kid was his idol growing up in Jersey. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Kid is the reason Kyrie loves his coaching. Like, Kid is the guy that you want if you have Kyrie. So that will be one of the main factors if he resigns here. And then Nico has a long-standing relationship with him since he was playing AAU. Yep. So money, situation, and his family. I saw him really his family enjoy Dallas. He's even say it. He's even said it. But I've seen his family just always in a positive mindset here, and just I'm happy to watch him on the court side, and him blowing kisses to his kids on the court. And I don't think what you see on national headlines depicts how he feels about Dallas, because they're just trying to push him to one team. So I think it's high, but I could be wrong.
Hey, it's just good news to hear from someone else. We think he's going to come back too. So
yeah. And with Brunson, I thought it was low, because all the family, the same ties that you see with Kyrie here are the same ties that you saw, but even tighter with Brunson in New York. So that's why I thought Brunson's was probably like a 65% chance, but I think Kyrie is high here.
Yeah, we had a Glow Yard member, Johnny B, that said it was over once he got the jersey signed or whatever by the whole team after the Western Conference Finals. At that point, really, Jalen Brunson knew he was gone. So we didn't want to believe him, but shout out to you, Johnny B.
See that, John? We gave you credit, man. We gave you credit.
Well, what does he say about Kyrie then? I mean,
I don't think.
Nah, he wants to stay. He wants to stay.
I don't know. I thought he wanted him to go. I thought he's like his favorite player, but I think he wants him gone now or whatever. I don't know.
I think you'll see big changes this offseason. I think you'll see a better team next season, and also the protected pick kind of came into the factor with this team. So I think you're going to see big things next season, and the development of Josh Green and Jaden Hardy will be nice too.
Ooh, Jaden Hardy and Josh Green.
Yeah, man, that would be nice.
Man, I hope you're right, man. I really do.
I think our guards are set. Like we're gonna have a nice guard combination. It's about now getting.
That's the best quartet you can have.
Yeah, like this is amazing.
Those four.
Yeah. It's
about now you just got to figure out the wings and the post.
But we have some
hopefully, man. Like there you go, man. That's what I'm about to say. You get the wings and the post, man, and we should be good, man. We definitely should be good.
But they don't need that many. They don't need that many guys coming in. They just need like at least 2 quality starters. Yep. They don't need like a whole change, but they just need 2 starters.
Could you imagine, Landon, if they had freed up space for Bertans, Kleber, JaVale McGee, and Dwight Powell? Could you imagine how much they could go get?
Yeah, wow. That's the NBA. Yeah. Every team could say that.
Nah, it is what it is. But yeah, they got to find a way, I guess, to get someone else. I guess just the hard point of trying to get rid of those contracts to get people that actually may be quality, or qualified enough to help the guys out, help guys at Luka and Kyrie's level. So
yeah, and Nico said it, Jason Kidd said it, Mark Cuban said it, so they know. Even Luka. I mean, the position that they're in, they don't want to do that. I mean, they didn't even make the play in, so it's that will wake you up. That will wake you up.
They're across national media right now. That's what we wanted, to be on national media, and we're all across it now. As far as from the bad side of positive and negative, but we're all over it.
Yeah.
One question before we let you go, Landon.
Okay.
You can say yes or no if you want to just go ahead and make it short. Should we trade this pick or should we keep this pick?
Ooh. That depends on who's available. I mean, that's tough. I mean, if they get the 10th pick, honestly, I mean, it's tough to say because it depends on who's available. Because they do need to get younger. I mean, they only Luka, Jaden, Josh. That's really your only young guys. I mean, Frank seems like he's 30, but he's really so young, just like Josh and Luka. But you really need more young. You need more youth because on the team you should have I don't know, out of 15 guys, you should probably have about maybe at least 6 young guys on the team, and they don't have that. They have a lot of role players who are reaching 30 or past 30. So it would be nice to see another top, it would be nice to see a top 10 pick on this team. But if you can get a quality big or a quality forward who's a 2-way or a defensive player, that'd be nice too.
I just get out of jail free with the number 1 pick, Landon. That's what I say. Trade the number 1 pick and get out of jail free. You can get everything done on this team. You can get rid of everybody, the bad contracts, bring in people, and get future first-round picks, I think, possibly, with Wendy. That's how high he is as far as his level and everybody thinking, if he supposedly, they said that if LeBron James was drafted again, that he'd be the number 1 pick, Wemby, by some people I've heard. So if that's the situation, I would trade that number 1 pick so fast and get out of everything. If you got a Kyrie and a Luka, that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. You got anything else you want to touch on, King? Before we
no, I'm good. We appreciate you, Landon. Like I said, man, been watching your work and been looking at your work and just spectating and appreciating it for a while. Definitely wanted to get you on the show. Definitely talk about you a lot on the show as far as your information and the reporting you do. So we appreciate you being on here, brother. Thank you so much. You're always allowed. We do roundtables, all type of things all the time. We definitely love to have your inside opinion. And we appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes,
yeah, appreciate y'all having me on. Definitely a pleasure.
No problem, man. We're gonna go ahead and let Landon go, y'all, so he can get back to what he was doing, and then we're gonna go ahead and get to y'all's questions and y'all's comments, man. So yeah, we definitely appreciate you, man.
All right, guys.
All right, then. Yes, sir. All right, man. We're gonna get to these questions and these comments. See what we got in here, man. All right, King, work your magic.
All right, let's see. Johnny B, I see you in here. He said, would you still take Ben Simmons if he was healthy next season? If you is you off that train? Yeah, I'm off that. I jumped off that back like during the show, Johnny B, during the season. I was like, yeah, Ben Simmons became complete trash.
Man, shout out to Wilson, man. He had another video about that dude, bro. I think he had like 3 videos on that dude this year, man.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Ben. That's like unbelievable. It's like,
bro, I remember his rookie year, bro.
It's gonna be a 30 for 30, bro, and that in like
this
a couple
dude about
years.
to be a problem, bro. And I'm just like, man, they got something, right? Next year, you know, he did his thing or whatever, but the numbers still kind of look the same. I'm like, oh, okay, you know, it's the second year. He'll do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
Third year came, I'm like, okay, man, you're supposed to take that next step. What's going on?
Ain't nothing happening, right?
Nothing happening. What's going on? And you know, it just kind of went downhill from there, man.
I felt like Ben Simmons, he came in the league with some things, I should say, at a higher level than LeBron James. So not the scoring ability and things like that, but like I felt like his athleticism was stupid. I felt like his handle was better than LeBron's as far as being taller than LeBron. Like he get to the rim as far as the way he could. He wasn't as big as LeBron, like built as him, but he wasn't like, he's not a small dude. But in his defense out the gate, like Bron took a second to become a defender. Like out the gate, this dude Ben Simmons was one of the best defenders at his position. So I just felt like, man, if he keeps developing, they give him like even a Giannis treatment. He don't got. I don't even think the 3-point game mattered. I think that it was just him and Embiid. They just didn't fit. And then by the time they blew it all up, they were just broken down. It's about too late. But they should have played Ben Simmons differently. And I thought he could have been a monster on both sides of the ball. But I'm off that train though, Johnny B. Richard says if we were tanking all year, we should have done it like Portland. Amen.
No, we weren't taking all year though, Richard.
No, we weren't. But he's saying if we were.
Oh, if we were?
Yeah. He's just saying if we want to end up doing this BS and, this year, bro, truthfully, how long do you think they knew this season was over? No, we talking about it. Like we keep talking about the Luka Doncic had to score 60 points and all that stuff. At what point did they think it was going to change? They made that blockbuster trade for a reason, right?
Yeah. You
don't make blockbuster trades when you think you're there, right?
I mean, Nico kind of mentioned that. This is why I was asking Landon about the whole disconnect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Nico kind of made a comment in that exit interview that they made this trade pretty much to just go straight offense because they knew their defense was bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like, if that's the case, then why didn't you put in the play more Christian Wood? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it makes sense.
That's what I didn't understand. It's like that's why I asked me, was there a disconnect between the front office and the coaching staff? Because it's like he's saying one thing, but then kid's doing something else different, and he's done that multiple times this year. So that's why I was confused by that. But
that's why I tried to switch the question around to make it about does he feel like Jason Kidd can get any heat? Because that's the way as far as the disconnect. Because he was trying to present it as far as like they're all good together and they're all cool, and not trying to. He was presenting it that way. His fans saying they're all like a family and all. So I wanted to know if it was like a committee. You feel me? Like we go to the table, round table, and we all discuss and see, we vote. Or is, Nico in charge? And Nico, if Jason Kidd, you messing up, nah, get yourself in order and all that. So, but he said, yeah, he still thinks it's hierarchy. But
because he did say, Landon did say too, because I heard this in the exit interview. It was like, oh, I mean, that's Kidd's thing. I don't know what he want to do and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, but you're the boss though. It's like,
yeah, like you shouldn't be,
you should have input in some of that stuff. You know what I'm
saying? That's yours. That's like a manager telling his employee that's your thing. Like it represents you then. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. So guess what? If it don't succeed, that falls on you.
Yeah, it falls on you. That's why I'm like, what will it take for Jason Kidd to get put in the fire or whatever? And it's like, well, it basically is going to take Luka having to be a coach killer again. So the only way you are now, I mean, that's why I said it's a good and a bad thing. But the only way now for Jason Kidd to lose his job, not saying he should again, but is for Luka Doncic to be a coach killer.
All right, hold your spot, King.
Mm-hmm.
Lives, what's good, man?
What up,
he says, what's up, guys? That great show. Question for Thomas. Our depth. Oh, he already left too.
Yeah, he left.
Dang, my bad, Lies. He said our depth is suffering at the moment. Who will stay and who will definitely go? What is a possible choice as far as add-ons for the depth? Yeah, he already left already, man.
But he said basically, I can basically go off of what he was talking about so far. He said he doesn't know the ins and outs like that as far as definitely knowing Lies. He just reports on it. So he's a guy that just goes in there and talks to the guys and talks about it for us, the fans.
Yeah, but, pretty much kind of like how we did with Grant.
Yeah.
But
if bro, you want to answer as far as who you think?
I'm just gonna leave it up to Nico, man.
That's how I feel, right? Like I don't even.
Yeah, because I don't even know. Like I said, we don't know. It's hard to really predict this team, man. So that's why I say like
it hurts your head trying to do it.
Trying to figure them out. You know, we got guys who paid to cover the team and they can't figure them out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Oh man, I don't even know if I should click Johnny B's, but I am. He says, so we all in agreement that kids should be fired and then domestic violence classes next season.
Oh man, Johnny.
I ain't gonna say all that, Johnny. I mean, I think Rel said he should be fired. I said they were gonna give him the benefit of the first year. I don't think we should get a slow start though. Like, I'm for real.
Nah, if we don't come out the gate, like
Luka Doncic better have his
best start.
His best start ever better have been next year. Like, I'm serious, bro.
If it come out like gang busters, bro.
Yep. I mean, a 7-game streak at the beginning and all of like that.
No, wait till December. No, I'm not trying to hear that, bro.
Nope. Let's see.
I've seen coaches get fired for this.
Yep.
Shout out to Jimmy Johnson.
Johnny also said, since the Mavs seems to be keeping kids, should his coaching staff be replaced because those guys.
Yep, and Landon said the same thing, Johnny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he should definitely replace him. And we keep been saying that, man. Now you know what? Landon kind of threw out 2 names I would not mind having on this team next year.
We asked about it and said they should be assistants here, right? I said I wouldn't take them.
Terry Stotts and Frank Vogel. We can put both of them on the like. Say they don't get no coaching jobs or whatever. I put both of them on the coaching staff, and bro, I would feel a whole lot better, King.
That was incredible.
I would expect a whole lot more too.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Shout out to Landon. That was incredible. He was saying a whole bunch of stuff. He was echoing a whole bunch of stuff we talk about here on the show all the time. That was awesome.
What do you always say, King? We hear this. The affirmation, bro.
Affirmation. Yep. It's like I trying to tell guys, you know. They say
somebody else saying, "Oh, okay, I see what y'all saying now." Like, we've been saying this though.
I'm trying to say that. Johnny also says Wood and Brunson would have been incredible. He makes Randall look out of this world at times. Hey,
bruh, Johnny, man, why you do that to us, man?
I still believe
we'd have been nasty, boy.
If we'd have had Jalen Brunson. I still believe it because we could have made one move. I told you it changes everything. We could have made a small move at the trade deadline. If you feel me, we still need a rebounding and said,
"Hey, we could have probably did that Vanderbilt trade."
Yep, something just simple, just straight.
That would have put us over the top right there. We would have been good.
We needed that. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Apparently, Frank says y'all see that apparently KP bought a house in Dallas. I don't know, but street clothes return. Get the heck out of here, man.
Nah, I'm good, Frank. I'm good.
Why? Why he do that though? Is he? I don't.
Well, you know what? No, he's not the only person, bro. There's a lot of players that they didn't even play for Dallas that moved to Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
But like
I told you, man. I saw Lisa Leslie at the movie theaters one time, and it threw me off because I didn't even know it was this girl I was dating. She said she had like a cousin or something that used to like move furniture and stuff like that to the big houses in the back of like this little area in Dallas. And she said, like, yeah, he started naming off all these celebrities down here that's not even from Dallas or whatever that's down here. So yeah, like Shaq moved down here.
Nice.
Now I don't know why they moving here because this traffic is terrible.
I know why they moving there.
Why is it?
Which I don't have there.
Oh, state income tax.
Oh, okay.
Sound about right.
You got to live in a place, right?
Yeah. Hey, they better move to San Antonio. Less traffic. Trash out here.
You better tell them that. What up, Larry? He says Christian Wood wasn't a first-round pick, nor was he worth a first-round pick.
Can I hit this one?
I mean, I ain't nothing to say. I thought he was going to the next one. Go ahead, bro. You can hit it up.
Larry. Nobody said he was a first-round pick for one.
No, I don't think he was saying it.
In second, hold on. Oh, okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I think just putting it out there and saying it. He wasn't a first-round pick, nor was he worth it. Just saying it like that. That's fine, Larry. If it is, best of luck to Seawood, but I'm hearing Seawood may actually stay. I don't know what's going on with this team, bro. That's why I'm like, what is
why people ask us, I can't tell. I can't figure it out.
I'm hearing Christian Wood may want to stay though. So
I don't know. He did tweet that tweet though, talking as if like he gone.
But then he tweeted another one about his favorite time was when he said he wanted to stay in Dallas and all that. Johnny B says fire J Kidd. That's not going to happen at least this year. You got to wait another year, Johnny. Well, you got to at least go into the season.
Yeah.
Frank said, "Oh, you already said that, Frank."
Any of the ones that's addressed to Landon,
Landon, we can't do anymore. He had to jump off, guys. We only had it for a little bit of time. Melissa says Kidd out coach Knicks and Mavs win comeback from 9 points behind in 33 seconds. If his assistant staff is really the cause of coaching criticism later this year, why it didn't show up earlier? So two things on that, Melissa. One, that is a good one. That is actually, I feel like something else happened that was dumb in that game at the end, but he did. He put in JaVale McGee and Christian Wood at that moment. As far as that, that's a good example. That's the one time I think he did actually do it. And if his assistant staff, I think his assistant staff has been called out the whole year, especially about like Rel's been talking about like Igor and Greg St. Jean. We've been not making fun of him, but like
you got
Richard,
a long explanation, bro. I could just sum it up.
Go ahead, Ro. Go ahead. I'm sorry, real quick.
Luka Doncic, Melissa. That's all I can say.
That's like
that's it. Like that 9 point that was Luka. That was all Luka.
No, JK did it at the end. He did that one part. I'm talking
about as far as like the coaching staff and all that. It's not like they came up with some miraculous. Matter of fact, why we down so big to y'all?
Yep, that's the point.
You know what I'm saying? There. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but the Knicks are a good team, though, bro.
No. Yeah, they are a good team. It's just like Luka caught fire, and he had to score 60 points for us to win that game
in overtime.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, like. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not saying that the coaching staff didn't do anything, but I'm not going to sit here and just be like, "Oh man, they saved our season in that game." Like, nah, Luka had to just go stupid in that game for us to win that game.
So, Melissa, usually you got coaches that are like considered laid back, and like the players love to be around them because they're like
Phil Jackson or somebody.
Yeah, like players, coaches to be like, "Hey, I sit back and I'm gonna make sure you guys are good, make sure this team camaraderie stays great and all." And then you got guys that are straight X's and O's, like look at the book and we're going to do this, cut this way. You got to learn this play. You better know this play. Yep. You better. That's how some coaches are. And I think that you want a comfortable medium on your team so that the players don't feel overworked or undervalued, but at the same time, they have to have a responsibility on them to do certain things. And we feel like a lot of coaches on this team fit the former mode as far as the players coach. Like they don't have enough experience to be a bunch of guys that can be X's and O's. That's how, like a bunch of them are first-time coaches. She also says, "What do you think about Kyrie not?" Oh, you already read that one, but yeah, he said he answered that one excellently. Melissa says, "Ooh, would love to see Jaylen Brown and Kyrie."
Yeah, we would too.
I'd love to see it as well. Reggie said, "What up, Glow Y'all? What up, Reggie?
What up, Brolo?"
Richard said, "Well, this is where they got us. I said I would stop watching if they re-signed Dwight. You know I'm not going anywhere."
No, we didn't say we are gonna stop watching, but somebody gonna take some.
I ain't blame. I ain't wearing no Mav apparel and all. If they do it for a while, I got to see something different. They must have some secret plan.
Be something different, man.
Like if they don't, Dwight Powell, that's gonna hurt my feelings. Melissa says,
Landon not the only one who think he's kind of like up in the air right now. Him coming back, like I told you, I've been hearing people kind of throwing out the idea of him maybe coming back for like a small deal or something.
Bro, I was glad to hear him say 50-50 though. I know it's still too high, but it was better than hear him say he like 75% sure that he was more confident that Jalen Brunson was going to stay than Dwight Powell going to sign. How about that? So I was like, okay, 50-50 is okay.
The only difference is there's more things pointing towards Jalen Brunson leaving than it is with Dwight Powell.
It's just that I know it's just because we know Dwight can't go anywhere else. That's why. Like with Jalen Brunson, we had the Knicks on the other side. It's like nothing or the Mavs on here. So it's like it's either going to be nothing or the Mavs. We got one thing to play against. So I don't know. I just don't want to waste no more spots, bro. We gonna not use Bertans and he making $16 million. Then why are we?
You made a good point that I didn't even think about. Because you was like, man, because you already gonna have guys you can't use already on this team in those spots, making that money. So why would you add to that by re-signing the Dwight Powell, bro? That was a great point. I didn't even think about that.
That makes no sense. Like JaVale McGee obviously don't want to be used by. Well, Jason Kidd doesn't want to use JaVale McGee, right? We know that now. He signed to that 3-year contract. We got if you bring Dwight Powell back, he's with him, Bertans, and then Maxi Kleber. Who knows what Maxi going to be? So no, this is foolish.
Which is why it's important, bro, to see what we can do with that pick. Let's get these guys up out of here, man.
Get out of jail free. I said. Johnny B said, Kyrie, my favorite point guard. I want him to stay for sure. I wish. Is that what you're doing? We could have stayed as well. and Kid moved to South Alaska.
Oh, probably Wood. I wish Wood would stay as
Wood,
well.
Okay. To South Alaska, and the Mavs hire Udoka as head coach and Silas on the coaching staff and trade for Simmons. Hey, I ain't trade for Simmons no more, man.
No Simmons trade.
Not for the amount.
Yeah, I would bring Silas back for sure. I mean, I know everybody's on the Udoka thing, but unfortunately, Johnny, we stuck with Kid, man.
And Johnny B, we not gonna make it like you ain't jump me on the train of Tim Hardaway Jr. being the greatest thing ever though.
Hey man, you did say Tim Hardaway. You did say Tim Hardaway Jr. was a future Hall of Famer, man. You said he's gonna have his stuff right next to his dad.
They gonna retire his jersey though in Dallas.
Oh God!
And Johnny B gonna get that Mitchell and that's one.
The authentic one.
Yep, the authentic. Richard said he was cool. Yeah, Landon was cool. Rich, cool dude, man. Very open.
We chop it up with these people on Twitter, man. They're pretty cool.
Frank said Ben been playing his rookie year for 6 years.
Oh man, and he really has, bro. It was what it seemed like.
Bro, Philadelphia.
I thought after his rookie year, I thought he was gonna take off, boy.
Man, they had Embiid. They had Embiid, no Migos. Shout out to rest in peace. They had Embiid, Simmons, and Fultz, man, on that team. That's wild. Richard says, I don't just hate Kid. I have said that before, but the rest of the staff has to be upgraded. That's what I'm saying, Richard. That's how I feel.
If we gonna keep Kid, you gotta upgrade the staff, man. I'm with Landon, bro. You gotta upgrade this staff.
In a few seconds.
Google, listening to me talking to government.
Google
hope she don't hear you. Frank said, not gonna lie, Landon made me feel better about the team. Can't avoid Kid and all, but here and there connected, or they're trying at least, I feel a little bit better. Yeah, he made me feel good about some things. I appreciate him. Told you 50-50 was better than I thought. I thought he was going to say 75% sure or like 80% sure.
Back for sure next year.
Yeah, like, oh, yeah, they definitely want him back because all this. And we knew all that stuff, community service. Like, Lies, what up? He says, but do we got enough to sign Kyrie and Jaylen Brown? He might get an All-NBA this year, so salary-wise is about to go up.
Oh, he surely.
No, we can't sign both of them. We had to trade for Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, we had to do a trade for him. But he's right. I forgot. Somebody else reported that. They said, man, Jaylen Brown might be eligible for a Supermax. Yeah. He is on the All-NBA team.
So, Lies, we could get Jaylen Brown if we got the number one pick. The Celtics don't win the championship and we got the number one pick, we can get Jaylen Brown. How about that one? I do believe that. But, like, you know, people call me fools and all that stuff and be getting yelled at on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, you can set your team up right now to be the dynasty of right now, or you can wait for Wemby and try to be a dynasty of the future. And all I'm saying is, like, we got enough talent already on this team that we add somebody else and put pieces around, we could be that team right now. Like, Wemby probably can go to a squad that got to wait some time. But we'll see.
Jay just sent us something. Said something about Kevin O'Connor said something that he going in on the Mavs.
Oh.
I'm here for it. Maybe I can see if we can get Kevin O'Connor on the show. That'd be nice.
We can try, but that's it, bro. That's the end of WTMs.
You want to ask that last one, man, for the people?
Oh, Frank said trade our top pick for Buddy and Turner. Only way to match money is to include both THJ and Berton, so that pick could really save us. Trade our pick if it's like 10. I'd do that if it was like 10th, Frank. I'm not doing the number one pick for just them two. I'd take Tyrese Halliburton if we got the number one pick. I'm serious. Like, they better give me Halliburton.
Yeah. I like that, Frank. I like your thinking on that, man. I like your thinking.
I like that for the number 10 pick. I'd do that.
Yeah, get two birds, one stone, man. Get them up out of mountain.
Yep.
We got some more came in.
We got more came in. I'm sorry. Richard says setting screens and delivering someone else's turkeys will get you $60 million. Damn, I did something wrong. Yeah, Rich, you should have been in the NBA, man.
Yeah. All you had to do is just stand in somebody's way.
Stand there with your feet, shoulders length apart. You feel me? Set the screen. Just move. You good?
You could your face. You could deliver turkey right now.
Yep. Get hit in your face a few times. You know.
You don't mind getting hit in the
face. Shout out to Landon though, man. That was awesome.
And then, of course, Frank said this. Said turn on a nice deal and Buddy on the last year of his deal. Yeah, man, that would work. I would take that, Frank. I'm with you.
I wanted to ask him something, but I was like, I don't know if I want to touch on it because it's including it's about Kyrie's money. You think they signed Kyrie for more than Luka make?
No, I was gonna ask him because I'm starting to hear people talking now. Would you sign him to the full 5? Because some people saying I wouldn't sign him to no more than 3, and I said that before. I said I probably do 3.
I told you I do the 3. I'd like to do the 3. Would you do the $50 million for 3? Would you give him all of his money, $50 million for 3 years?
I'd do 50 for 3.
You do 50. Would Luka be okay with that?
Yeah, he said he want him back. He want to play with him. So yeah,
I got you. It's a difference.
It's gonna depend on. It's gonna depend on like. I think Luka's smart enough to understand. Like, of course, I'm gonna get mine when I get my.
Yeah, he gonna get his again and all that.
I can't get it right now, but yeah. No, I think it's gonna be. It's gonna.
Would Jordan be okay with that?
Who?
Would Jordan be okay with that? Michael Jordan?
Nah, Jordan would be okay with it.
Okay, that's the only right reason I asked. I'm not saying Luka wouldn't be okay with it. I'm just asking you, Michael Jordan be okay with it? Would Kobe Bryant be okay with that? No.
I mean, he was because Shaq kept getting more money than him.
That was at the beginning. I'm talking about once Shaquille O'Neal left, Kobe could have took that cheaper contract than him, right?
Yeah, because that's why Shaq left. Well, not why, but it's one of the reasons why he left.
So I'm just saying it's a question.
Remember, it was like who they gonna pay out of Kobe and Shaq. Remember that?
It's not like it's not a real question. Like he was only making less than KP because KP got his contract first.
Right.
You feel me? So like, I'm not saying he wouldn't. I mean, I would give him the 50 for the 3 years. Like Luka obviously is worth more than that, but it's gonna be
not like he's not about to make 70 when he get when his next contract come up.
But he gonna still be under contract when Kyrie done his contract though, bro. That's the part I'm like thinking about. So like Luka's still gonna be making under 50 by the time Kyrie done with his 3 years 50.
Oh, gotta. Yeah, I can't even answer that, man.
Clue amount.
Yeah, I can't answer that one, bro. That's all YouTube.
I'm sorry about that.
All we can do is post it. That's all we can do. YouTube supposed to do the rest. But yeah, man, it's gonna probably do it there, man. We definitely appreciate y'all, man. We'll see y'all on next Friday. We're trying to get are we good for Wilson?
He said yes. So yeah. Tell the people.
Okay. We should be able to get I don't have a little
thumbnail right
here. Yeah. We should have Wilson Sy on, man. He's a huge NBA YouTuber, guys. I know probably a lot of y'all probably already follow him already. Dude got I think like 100-some thousand followers or whatever. Yeah. Dude's a big not Maverick. He's a big NBA YouTuber, guys. So if you guys want to follow him, it's Wilson Sy SY on YouTube. Check him out, guys. He do all type of NBA content.
Yeah, he's funny too.
yeah, I like Wilson. Man. I tell you, man, me and my wife went to the game in New Orleans, and he was there. He was at that game. Yeah, I saw him on the jumbo screen. But yeah, man. So we'll probably have him on next Friday, guys.
We get the timing all together.
Yeah, we got to get all that together, so we'll let y'all guys know. But we'll probably have that on for you guys next Friday. What was somebody gonna say? I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Your regular stuff about. Well, we don't gotta say that, do you?
Nah. Oh, guys, please do us a huge favor, man. Please hit that like button, y'all. Still need y'all to hit that like button, man. That'll help us out here. Because I know y'all already supporting us in the special way already. I could do that one more thing by just hitting that like button, man. We definitely would appreciate that.
As Russ scratches the back of his neck again.
Yeah, hit that like button, y'all. That'll definitely help us out here. Hold on, let me get this last little question out, man. Frank said, "What about Draymond? Though Warriors had to pick who to pay and pick the pool. Maybe sign the trade for Draymond. Yeah, but I want to know how much he wants, though.
Yeah, who and how much does he want? How much are you willing to give him?
Yeah, because that's we were just sitting there talking about the fact that we need to get younger.
Yeah,
and Draymond definitely ain't young no more.
You don't think Golden State would sign him for $20 million?
I'm not sure. I think with Golden State, he's gonna want the max, and he said
no. I'm saying what I'm saying though is, do you think if so? I only want to give him $20 million for like a short time. If I'm only willing to give him $20 million, I think Golden State would give him that. That's what I'm saying. I think Golden State might pay him $20 million if he take just $20 million.
Yeah, probably.
But I don't think he wants just $20 million. That's the thing. I'm not signing him for $30 million. No.
No, sir. But yeah, man, appreciate you, TGK. Appreciate you.
Thank you, TGK. Can't read that.
But yeah, but now, like I said, guys, we'll be back here next Friday. Hopefully, we'll have Wilson Sy on, man. Hopefully, we'll see how that goes, and we're gonna try to work on more guests on the show for you guys. Since you guys, like I said, we definitely appreciate you guys. You guys support the channel in a special way. We appreciate you. This channel is definitely, I mean, I'm sorry, this show is definitely for y'all, man, to show our appreciation to y'all, man, and y'all's membership to the channel. King, you anything you want to add before we go, man?
Continue to share, y'all. It's because of y'all. Like, this is a dream come true. I never thought I'd be doing this as far as this little part. Like, and this is just a step. Like, talking to Landon, Thomas, the other guys, DDPs, like TGK, Wilson, Sy, like, that's my dude. I watch his stuff on you guys Queen all the time. So, because of you guys that we're allowed to talk to these folks now, I appreciate it. We're going to keep going, keep going as far as we can. Landon said he wants to be a voice of the people. You guys know we do as well. We are the voice of the people as well. So we thank y'all. Please help us out and continue to support us. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir, man. And with all that being said, guys, we will catch you guys here next Friday, guys. Please hit that like button, everybody. Hit that like button.
Yes, sir.
And we out this piece.
Peace.